Moin Moin and welcome to Ralfs Foto-Bude. Yeah, a few weeks ago I presented to you the Sony Alpha 7 and 7R. Both cameras are real similar. The main difference is the sensor, 24 megapixel with the 7 and 36 megapixel with the 7R. There are some minor differences between the autofocus systems, and the 7R doesn't have a low pass filter. So these are the main differences. But the functions and how to work with the camera, the menus, the buttons and dials are exactly the same. So my tutorial today for the tips and tricks of the 7R works also for the Alpha 7. The main topics of the camera I showed you in my first video of the Alpha. Today I want to focus on some special things like the display settings, the function button settings, different autofocus options. Then we have the video options, and last but not least some special functions like the custom settings 1 and 2 of the cameras. I will show you how you set these both individual settings of the Alpha 7. One thing before I go in the tips and tricks sections, I want to show you the difference of size between the Alpha 7 and the RX10. The RX10 is the newest model of Sony. It's a bridge camera with a 8x zoom, 24 to 200 millimeters. And so some of my viewers or readers asked, what is the difference between this in the size of the camera, and we will see the difference is not real big. The RX10 is a little bit bigger, and it depends on the lens you put on the 7 or 7R. Here in this we have the 55mm 1.8 size lens, Carl Zeiss lens. So you have lots of different lenses, and they may be a little bit bigger. So but mainly the sizes of both cameras are the same. There are not so many differences. They both have the viewfinder, and they both have the turnable screen. So yes, but here on this camera we have the full frame sensor, and here we have the smaller sensor. Is the same sensor we have in the RX 100 and 100 M2. So let's go to the tips and tricks section. So first of all, I want to show you the different settings of the display. On the back side of the camera we have this dial and a four-way button, and on the top of the four-way button we have the display, and if you press the display button you will see you get different views on the display. Each time you press the button you get a different view. You have the very important the 3D level meter. The same views are almost the same, except of this one you will have also in the electronic viewfinder. If you don't want to have all the different settings, you can change this in the menu. There you press the menu button, and then we go to the menu, and in the menu you go to the setting here, to the setup menu, and in the setup menu you have the option for the disp button, and there you can choose between the settings of the monitor and the finder. If you go to the monitor, you have 6 different settings you can choose from, and it starts with a graphic display. You see the example how it looks like here in this small area down there. You have display all info, no display info, histogram, level meter, and for viewfinder, I don't know what it means for viewfinder, because these are the most important settings of the camera. If you have chosen the settings you want, go to the enter button, press OK, and that's it. And again you have the same also for the viewfinder, go to the point finder, and here you see we have one option less. That's the one for the viewfinder, where you get all the infos on the screen. And here again, press enter, and that's it. So you have the changes if each time you press the display button. And if we look to the viewfinder, I have to change this one manually, I think, because I'm not quite sure. No, I don't know. I have the automatic change, sorry. Where we go? Here we are. Each time I press the button, you see, may not be sharp. Yeah, now it's sharp. You see we have the different display options. Next point are the custom settings of the different buttons. On the Alpha we have the function button on the back side. We have the C1 button on top of the camera. We have the C2 button here on the side of the viewfinder, and the C3 button, nice word for me in German, C3 button on the bottom of the camera, and we have the dial and the 4-way button, as I said before, and we have the lever between AMF and AEL. These buttons are all customizable. So press the menu button, and here we go to the point function menu set, custom key setting and dial setup. And last but not least, one point I've missed, that's the movie button. That's the one at the side of the camera, and here you can choose between always or movie mode only. If you press always, or if you choose always, anytime you press the movie button, a video will start. If you go to movie mode only, you can only start a video if you turn the dial here on top of the camera to the movie mode. So that's the difference between these both settings. For me, it's okay to use always, because I'm not hit this button accidentally, so for me it's okay. But if you hit it often accidentally, you should go to the settings movie mode only. So let's start with the function menu setup. Here you see we have different settings. We have 6 different settings for the upper and 6 different settings for the lower. What does it mean? If you press the FN button, you see in the display 6 different options here you can choose from. And all of these 12 options you can individualize. So usually I use the resolution, size, white balance, and so on in the first row. And in the second row I have some other options. But you can customize the 7 and 7R in the way you like it. So that's very easy. Just go to the function menu set, press OK, and here we go. As I said before, first button, upper row, is image size. Then next is aspect ratio. Then we go to the quality. Then we have white balance. And focus area is the number 6, and exposure compensation. You really don't need the exposure compensation, because the exposure compensation is here on a dial on top of the camera. So here we can choose something else. So let's have a look what we have. Maybe creative style or picture effects are some nice things, or soft skin effect. So these are the options you can choose from. Or you can, the peaking level, you can choose the peaking level if you use often the manual focus option. In the lower row, usually I use the creative style and the picture effect, creative style here, and on number 2 I have the picture effect. On number 3, white balance, DRG, and auto HDR, and here we have smile or face detection, and maybe the soft skin effect. If you choose the points and press the FN button, you see you have the settings you wanted here in the 2 rows. And if you want to change one of the settings, just go to the point you want to change it and then turn the dial. You can also use the back dial, this one. You see, if I turn the dial here, you can use this one, or you can use the front dial here. So see, if I turn the front dial, you change the setting. It's not necessary to press the OK button. If you want to change a point, you can do this. You can press the OK button. Then you go into the menu, but it's not necessary. You can change it directly. If you have here the different picture qualities, just turn the dial, and you have extra fine, fine, standard, and then you have RAW plus the different settings, RAW plus JPEG, the options here. So it's not necessary to press the OK button to go into the menu. It's enough to turn the dial. If you have a setting here like the focus area, if you go to the focus area, you have at this point, you have 3 different options, and if you want to choose one of the 3 different options, just turn the back dial of the camera. So the front dial gives you the main choice, and the back dial gives you the individual choice. And this works for every setting. So let's have a look. There's another setting we can do. It's, what else do we have? I have to go back here to this one, because in RAW mode it won't work. You have to go to extra fine, and then we can go to the here to the picture effect. And if you turn the picture effect, here we have the different settings of the picture effect. And if you want to make an individual setting of the picture effect, here we have the toy effect, and you can choose in the toy effect between normal, cool and warm. Turn the back dial of the camera, and you see you can make the individual choice of the effect. So it's very easy to change the different settings very fast. So it's very important to make a real good setting of the FN button, because if you have a real good setting of the FN button, you can work very fast and you can work very easy with the different settings of the Alpha. Next point in the menu are the custom key settings, and in the custom key settings we have, as I said before, the different settings. We have the control wheel, that's the one here on the back side. I usually use it for ISO setting, but be careful, it's very easy to turn the dial, so you can accidentally turn the dial and change the ISO setting. So be very careful with this setting, because it can happen that you change the ISO setting and you don't want it. But I usually have a close look on the ISO setting, so for me it's very easy and very handy to use the control wheel for the ISO setting. Then we have the AEL button, auto exposure lock button. That's the one here. So if you toggle down the lever to the bottom, you have auto exposure lock, and here you can change the different settings between hold, memory, and you have the spot AE hold and the spot AE toggle. And if you don't want to use the button for AEL, no problem. Here you have different settings you can put on the lever, and you can choose one of these different settings. But in my opinion, be careful, because if you change too much of the settings of the camera and you don't know exactly what setting you have put on which custom button or on which lever here, you maybe get lost in the different settings. So I would suggest to let the AEL functions, the AEL function here, because for this settings you have the FN button where you have 12 different settings, so you can choose one of these 12 settings to the FN button. So my suggestion, let the AEL on this button, and choose only between the different settings, hold or toggle. And what it means, hold or toggle, I can show you if you put it to hold. I go down to AEL. If you use hold, you have to press the button. If you lose the button, the AEL will change to the normal setting. So you see here you have the star. When you press the button, you get the star. So now the value is on hold, and if you release the button, the value is not anymore on hold. If you use the setting AEL toggle, it works this way. You press the button and you see the value is on hold, and you don't have to push the button anymore. Next time when you push the button, it's away, so you can toggle between hold and unhold. So that's the reason why we have the different settings here. Next point is AF/MF button. That's the one if you put the lever on the top position. And here is exactly the same. You have AF/MF control hold or AF/MF control toggle. So you can change between AF and autofocus and MF manual focus. Exactly the same way, hold or toggle. Usually I think toggle is the better option, so that's the way I want to choose it now, and I'll show you what happens. Put the lever on top on AF/MF, and if you press the button, I have to go to the other display option. Here we have AFS, autofocus single, and now I press the button and here we are, we have manual focus, and so I can toggle between autofocus and manual focus. My suggestion again, let it on the setting toggle. Next point is the custom button 1. That's the one on top of the camera. You can put it to ISO if you don't want to have the ISO on the control wheel. Next point is the aperture preview on custom button 2. That's the one here. And custom button 3 is not set. I like the ND filter on the button 3, so let's have a look where we have the ND filter. It should be here anywhere. Where we are with the ND filter. Oh no, you can't set, I think, yeah, you can set the ND filter on the button C3. I don't know why. Yes, but you can put it on the ND filter on the custom button. Where you have to put the ND filter to the FN button if you want to change the ND filter manually. You have the option also to work with the automatic change of the ND filter. So let's have a look again here in the different settings. And on the second area of the custom key settings, we have the center button. That's the one here in the middle of the dial. Left button is drive mode. Right button is white balance. And down button I have to set to peaking level. And again, in my opinion, you shouldn't change this because you have the sign here, white balance, and you have here the drive mode. And if you want to change the white balance and the drive mode and press the button and you have something else on this button instead of the drive mode, it's very confusing. So my opinion, let it there to the drive mode. One very important point, the center button, you should the center button on standard. Why? I will show you later when I come to the different focus options, because if you let it on the standard setting, you will see that the focus field, to change the focus field is very easy if you have it on standard. Okay, so these are the different settings of the custom keys. Next point is the dial setup, and the dial setup, that's only the setup of the front and the back dial in the manual mode. So if you're in the manual mode, you have, I show you here, you have on the front dial the shutter speed, and on the back dial you have the aperture, and that's the point you can change here if you want to change it. And if you want to have the f-stop on the front dial and the shutter speed on the back dial, just go to this setting, and here we are. Now we are on the back dial with the shutter speed, and on the front dial with the f-stop. So it depends on you what you like more. Yeah, so these are the settings of the different custom keys or custom buttons and the dial and the lever here. Next point are the different focus methods. One thing the Alpha 7 doesn't have is a lever on the front side where you can change the different focus settings. The RX10 has this lever, so there you can change the different settings of autofocus, manual focus, continuous and so on. To change between the different focus methods, you have to go to the menu to the point focus mode. And here we have the different settings. First, autofocus single. This one you should use if you have a steady scene like still life or landscape or portrait or stuff like that. Next point is AFC, autofocus continuous. This you should use when you take pictures of dog, children, cars, or anything which moves, so the focus have to work continuously to catch the focus on the scene. Next point is DMF. That's a combination of autofocus and manual focus. It's a little bit difficult. I don't use this one very often, so I show you later how this will work. And last but not least, that's the manual focus. And in the manual focus, you work with the focus ring on the lens to focus on the scene. In the setting AFS, autofocus single and autofocus continuous, we have different settings for the autofocus area. And that's what I showed before. It's in the shooting menu, and here we have the focus area. We have, first of all, we have the white area, then we have the zone in the zone area, that's the one here in the middle. Then we have the center, that's a small spot in the middle. And we have the flexible spot, and you have the flexible spot in 3 different sizes I showed you before. Always when you see here a small arrow on the side of the menu, you can choose between different settings. So this is also, if you go to the different picture modes, you can choose here the different settings just by pressing the left or right button, and you see you have the different settings here from small, large and medium. And if you go to medium, you see we have here the orange spot in the middle, and that's what I said before. If you put the standard to the center button, just press the button and you can move the autofocus point to an area where you want it. If you don't use standard here, you have to go, it's a little bit more difficult because you have to go either in the menu or press the FN button, go to this point and then press OK, and then you're also in the option to move and to change the autofocus point. But as I said before, put the middle to standard, that's the setting here. As I said before, go to the custom key setting and put the control, put the center button on standard, and if the center button is on standard, it's very easy to move the single spot here on the display. If you go to the setting autofocus continuous, these are exactly the same settings. Here we are, you see we have here the same settings like in the autofocus single. And if we go to the DMF, it works, you press the button and the camera focus. I have no scene here, so it's a little bit difficult to explain. I can show you later on when I back on the other camera. You press the button and then you turn the front dial, the focus dial on the lens, and so you have the option to focus manually exactly on the point where you want it. You have the meter scale here down, and you can change the magnification between 7.2 and, if you press the button here on the back side, 14.4. But let's be honest, it's a little bit difficult because you have to press the shutter release button all the time a little bit to stay in the DMF function. If you lose the shutter release button, you're out of the DMF function. So in my opinion, it's not really easy to use this function, and I think you should use the manual focus function if you want to focus right on the point. And that's very easy because you just turn the focus dial and you go into the magnification. You see the scale here, that's close up and that's far away. And you can focus perfectly. Just press the center button and you have the magnification 14.4 or 7.2. You toggle between those two magnifications. Very important, to see the magnification you have to set it up, and you have the manual focus assist. That's the point you should put to on. MF assist, that's the point to put on. If you put it to on off, you see when I turn the dial on front of the camera, nothing happens, there's no magnification, only if you start the MF assistant to on. Next point is, and that's a little bit confusing because I would think that the peaking function is also at the MF assist, but no, it's not. The peaking function is here. We have the peaking level and the peaking color. You can set it to different peaking levels, and you can set it to different colors, red, yellow and white. And how this will look, I will show you later on the other camera, because here is no scene, and the 50mm, the 55mm lens cannot focus very close, so it doesn't help to put my hands or something else here in front of the lens. I will show you later how the peaking will work. Yeah, so these are the different settings of the focus system. Coming up to the next point, and that's the video function. Here on top you have the dial, and if you go to the video function, here we are, that's the video function. You have different settings for the video function. First of all, you will recognize that we have the level meter for the microphone. You also have a choice to put an external microphone and a headphone to the Alpha 7. Here we have the microphone jack, and underneath we have the headphone jack. So you can put an external microphone at the camera. And again, we have the same options like when you're taking pictures. You have the different focus methods, but only between manual focus and autofocus continuously, because you will not have an option to set the autofocus single, because usually a scene is moving, and so autofocus continuous is the choice here. What we will see here is we have manual settings, yes, and you can change the different video settings. Here it's just go back, sorry, it's in the camera menu, and it's the point movie, and here we have the different settings, and you can choose from the program auto, aperture priority, shutter priority, or manual exposure. So these are the 4 different settings you can choose from. Yeah, and you have again the different color settings, and you have some of the effect settings, so you can choose from the different settings. One very important point is the record settings, and in the record settings you have different options here. You have the 50p, 50i, 50i with high and low data rate, and if you wonder why we don't have 60p, yeah, the reason why we don't have 60p, because you have to change the TV setting here, and you have to go to the PAL NTSC selector, and there you have to change to NTSC, and if you change to NTFC, the camera will reboot. It takes 2 or 3 seconds, and then the camera will come back. And when the camera is back, here we are, running on NTSC, that's what the Alpha says, and then go back to the camera menu, and here we are in the camera menu again with the record setting, and oh wonder, here we have 60p and 60i. So it's very important that you change to the NTSC mode. Even if you live in Europe, you should change to the NTSC mode, because all modern flat screens are able to show you movies with 60p in the NTSC mode, and 60p is a little bit better if you have fast moving objects, because there will no blur and it will be absolutely sharp. So very important, change the camera. If you want to take movies, change the camera to the NTSC mode to get the highest resolution, 60p with 28 megabits per second. Yeah, so this is the video mode. Let's have a look to the panorama mode. Turn the dial to the panorama mode, and in the panorama mode, just by turning the front dial, you can change between the different directions. Left and right, you know, and but up and down, you may wonder, I don't want to make a panorama up or down. Yes, but there's a good reason why you should use this option, because if you turn the camera, you can make a panorama in this direction. Why is it good? Because you have a higher resolution. If you make a panorama in this direction only, you have a low resolution. If you do it in this direction, you have a very high resolution. So you should do, if you want real high resolution panoramas, turn the camera and make it in portrait mode or not in landscape mode. Next setting here, you can change the different settings for the panorama mode. You have here, you have a panorama direction. That's easy to do with the front dial, and you have the panorama size, and here you have different settings. That's standard and wide. I'm not quite sure which degree it is exactly, but I think 180 degrees and 270 degrees. Just try it, just give it a try. And as I said before, use the wide also in the portrait mode to get a real high resolution panorama picture. One of the important or interesting settings are the custom settings 1 and 2 here on the top dial. Yeah, and how to use it? Very easy. Just make the settings you want. So go to the menu, you go on P, and maybe we go to autofocus single, and then we want to use a different creative style. So let's go to black and white, because I want to make black and white. Here we are, black and white. Then we go to a picture effect, maybe the toy camera normal. Yes, and also we want to give him a little bit more ISO, 1600, that's it. And so you can make all the settings you want, and then go to the menu, press the menu button, and you have to go to the point memory. That's the last one in the camera menu, 7, the last one in the camera menu. Just go to the point memory, and here you have the 2 options between 1 and 2, but be careful. If you have a setting on one of them, 1 or 2, you override it and the camera won't ask you, so you override it just by pressing the OK button. Here again you see the different settings you have done. Here we have the black and white mode, we have the toy normal, and so on. We have the ISO setting of 1600 here, and if you want to put it on 2, just press OK and now it's on memory 2. And to show you that it is working, I change the ISO setting back to 200. I go here to off, and I use here the sunset mode, okay, and these are the settings. And if I want to go now to the black and white mode and my settings, just turn the dial, and here we are in 2, and as you see we have the black and white mode, toy normal, ISO 1600, and so on and so on. So we have all the settings we have put on the 2. So that's very easy to use. Maybe if you want, that's usually what I do. If you want portrait and black and white, these are 2 special settings I use. And so for me it's very easy. I have on the number 1 the portrait, and on number 2 I have the black and white mode. So for me it's very easy. I only have to turn the dial 1, and then I can make portraits, and 2, and I can make black and white, and I won't change my individual setting in this moment, and I can go back easily just by turning the dial to P, and I'm back in the normal mode. You see here we have the sunset, and these are the settings I had before. So very easy to use this. One of the next points I will show you very fast is the scene mode. To change the scene mode, here go to the program dial scene, and then you can turn the different scenes on the front dial. You see I want to change here, and we have the portrait, we have sport, macro, landscape, and so on and so on. If you don't know what the symbol means, just go to the menu, and if you go to the menu, you will see here the different settings. I have to look where it is. It is here, scene selection, and if you go to the scene selection, you will have the explanation of each symbol, and you can choose also with the explanation if you don't know what the small symbol means. Okay, here we are. One thing I should show you, what I said before when the small arrow is here. If you use the drive mode, watch out that you can change between different settings. If you're on the drive mode with the self timer, you see the small arrow here. Just press it on the left side and you have 10 seconds, right side you have 2 seconds. The same as self timer continuous 10 seconds 3 images. Here you can also change between 5 or 3 images. Next point is the bracketing function here, and you have also different settings. In my opinion, it's a little bit confusing because you have to look very close to find out which option you have. It's not very easy, and I think it's not a real good overview. But if you choose something and you see there's a small arrow, be aware that you can change this setting just by pressing the right and the left button. And as I said before, it's also when you're in the different picture effects, or here in the creative style, it's exactly in the creative style. Not in the creative style, you only can change between individual settings of contrast, saturation, and sharpness. But if you are in the picture effects, here we are in the picture effects. Here we have the small arrow again, and you can change between the different settings. So look very careful what the menu shows you, so that you can make your individual setting very easy. Yeah, what else do we have? I think these are the most important settings of the Alpha 7 and Alpha 7R. And now I will show you how the focus peaking works. Works in manual mode, and that's what I want to do now. I want to change to the manual mode. Okay, let's give me a second. I go to the manual mode. Let's here. We have the manual mode, and then I start the focus peaking. Here we are with the peaking level. I put it on high and I use the color red, and now I hope it will work. It's a little bit difficult because, as I said before, the camera has, here we are, and now hopefully, yeah, here we have a little bit, here we have the focus peaking, you see it in red, and so if you see this red outlines, the camera focus perfect on the point. So that's the focus peaking. When I work with focus peaking, sometimes I'm a little bit bored of the red color and the focus peaking, so I put the function to one of the 12 function options. I put it usually on the last one. Here is another option, so I can put the focus peaking very fast off. I will show you how this will work. So let's go to the function menu setting, lower row, and here we are, and put the focus peaking level. Here we are, put the peaking level on it, and now what happens is, here we have the focus peaking. I will go a little bit back. Where is my logo? Here we are. Here we have the focus peaking, and if I want to turn the focus peaking off, it's a little bit difficult to do it in this direction. Here we are with the focus peaking, and if I'm bored of the focus peaking, just press the FN button, and then we go down to the focus peaking and turn the front dial, and then you can turn off the focus peaking, and that's it. So it's very easy if you put it on the FN button. Yeah, that's almost everything about the Alpha 7 and 7R. I hope it will help you a little bit to understand the camera. I know some of my readers said that the manual is not real good of the Sony cameras, so that's also a reason why I made a little bit longer review, a longer tips and tricks section of the Alpha 7 and 7R, and it may help you to understand the Sony cameras and to work a little bit faster and easier with the Sony Alphas. Hope you enjoyed my tips and tricks section. If you like it, please press the like button here, and also subscribe my channel on YouTube. That would be very nice. Come back again here in the next days. I will have some new cameras, so I hope I will get the new Fuji in the next days, and make a real nice preview of this mirrorless camera, of the new mirrorless camera from Fuji. Hope you enjoyed it. Come back again. Thanks for watching me, and till now I say, as every time, moin moin.